Listeners, welcome to the Lost in Postulation podcast. I'm Nicola and I'm joined as always by, he's an alien. He's a legal alien. He's a podcaster in Copenhagen. It's Neil. It's Patrick. Please give him a warm welcome.
I think this was the no, no, sorry, I didn't. I don't. I was about to go full harsh, and no, I want to give credit where it's due because I want to nourish your creativity. I don't want to give any negative reinforcement to your creativity. So great work there. If I can give some quick feedback, if that's okay, you could have just you didn't need the second part. I thought was surplus to requirement. If I'm honest,
Too many
it was just
syllables.
so good. You know, you pushed your luck basically, and you did the classic thing that Danish songs do actually, which is they just break the rules of how many syllables there should be. You know, like I can't think of any obviously off the top of my head, but it's something like da 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 da
This
da
is
da.
harsh.
Like they just drop it. It is a bit harsh. I shouldn't critique the amazing, as I said, creativity that you bring to the table here. Certainly better than anything I brought today. So well done on that front.
Did you notice the
And
song at least?
yeah, a huge fan of Sting and his duet with Shaggy on the NPR Tiny Desk concert. I don't know if you saw that.
Reggie.
Where they did exactly a cover of this song, I think, and it was great. So yeah, I am indeed a legal alien as well. Don't need the immigration authorities coming after me here. I have every right to be here.
Very good. The reason I used that cover of Sting to introduce you was that I found out I was living a lie. I grew up believing that Sting was Irish.
No, yeah, I could see
Yeah,
like, he falls into the kind of Bono
that
character arc
wheelhouse,
or
right?
whatever. Yeah. But no, alas, I wish he was. I would claim him straight away, but no,
No,
gotta let him go.
from the northeast of England, as it turns out. But upon research, turns out at one point, for many years, he was a tax exile in Galway.
Wow, not the only one in Ireland these days, I can tell you. But hey, look, I don't blame him. Galway is one of those places that nobody wants to move to, but I hear everyone who does move there loves it and wants to stay. You know, there's something about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're going to be a tax exile, Ireland is the place to do it. So yeah, get on board.
Seems that way. That's Sting for you. Listeners, Neil gave me some feedback. So if you could please balance that out by writing into me, lostinpostulation@gmail.com or Lost in Postulation on Instagram, that would be very much appreciated.
Always welcome. They give me a lot of feedback generally as well. So I'm not, I don't feel too hard done by here. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So Neil, leading with a bit of a mundane, which crosses into pop culture here. Walking around town here in Copenhagen on Saturday, and there's all these people going around and with Eurovision T-shirts around Copenhagen. I'm like, what's going on? Oh yeah, it's the Eurovision Song Contest right across the water in Malmö, Sweden, this last weekend. And I tell Maria, I'm like, yeah, the Eurovision's on tonight. I haven't watched it in a few years. Let's get on it tonight. We have no other plans. And she's just like stone faced. No, we're not doing that. And I'm like, no, come on, it'll be fun. And she's like, no, it's so bad, we're not watching it. I'm like, but that's kind of the point. It's so bad that, it's fun. We didn't end up watching it, but I have a feeling that you did, my friend.
Yeah, you have a good feeling, and it may be because I told you I did, but it is actually not that bad. I have to say,
That's always
like,
been my thought. Not that bad.
yeah, like it's earnest in the sense that all of the countries are trying. Like they have written a song that they think people will like. Mostly, there's obviously always one or two each year. Estonia this year was pretty horrible, but in every case, they're trying, they're doing their best. And okay, it's a pop thing, right? So if that's not your genre, then yeah, for sure. If you're waiting for the jazz section to start, you're going to be waiting a long time. But like it's 3 minutes, get their attention, in and out, smash and grab kind of pop songs, So if you take it for what it is and approach it with a bit of like, I think the word is like intellectual curiosity as to, let's say, the soft power political games that are going on. I think it's a pretty interesting thing to watch. It's not without its merits, so I enjoyed it. We said we would only watch the music, and then we ended up watching basically the whole thing.
But that's kind of the geopolitical, the interesting part is the voting and the voting blocks, right? Because the music is kind of, there's nothing in most cases that pertains to that country in terms of the origin of the music. It's all kind of the same poppy tune, isn't it?
Well, even there, I would say they did a good job, at least this
Okay.
year, representing. I think, at least to some degree, the songs do function as a kind of a tourism ad
Mm.
in most cases.
Okay.
Like, if you had a quick look through this year, off the top of my head, France was extremely French. I think Bulgaria was very Bulgarian. Italy was pretty Italian.
There you
Ireland was like a dark black metal pop kind of
go.
thing, but she was heavily inspired by kind of old school witchcraft in Irish mythology as well. So like there's something there, I think, where the countries do try and have some kind of a representation without smashing you in the face with it, which the UK did and paid dearly for it. They got 0 in the public vote, so yeah, not a success
And
there.
of course, Australia still participating in the Eurovision Song Contest, I imagine.
Didn't make it to the final this
Oh,
time.
okay.
I can't even. I'm not even sure if they entered, but in any case, they were not on stage. I can tell you on Saturday. And you know what? They just need to. I think everyone needs to just be like, it's just like let anybody in. You know, like
What if we made this global, right? So what if you still had Eurovision, but you also
yeah.
had Nam Vision, not
Mm.
Vietnam, but North America, but you also had Asia Vision, Africa Vision, and then the winners of each would face off kind of in a World Club Cup type of competition.
Yeah, I'm fully up for it. Like the only thing stopping it is if you did it in say North America, you either have to go US, Canada, and then Mexico, and maybe some Caribbean islands, or you have to go state by state, and then that's too long. That's 50, right?
Mm,
Or you would need to have like semifinals and quarterfinals to get to a final. But there is ways to do it, I think, for sure. Um, I think it's just really important to remember, like it's very easy to punch it now and make fun of the Eurovision as like what it can't be ridiculous
right,
political thing, but let's not forget like where it came from and the sentiment behind where it came from. Right, this was in the 50s, not too long after the end of World War II, where the thriving media scene in Europe were looking for ways to actually promote the European idea and the European concept, and like this was a fantastic way to do just that. If you look back as well at the entrants in those years, in those decades, like the 50s and 60s, they're very serious and straight laced. It's none of this, you know, pop
right.
thing that ABBA kind of kicked off. For the first few years, these are like ballads and serious musical performances with a full orchestra in many cases, and like it's just super. It's something that I think unfortunately gets thrown into a box these
Yeah,
days of ridicule very quickly, and of course it's kind of been, I don't want to say co-opted, but it's certainly been adopted by the LGBT community as a big part of their annual
right.
calendar, you know, which is also great. Yeah, and it's good that it functions as that. But then we sometimes forget this is like an important cultural institution, one of the few Europe has in many
Right.
cases. But anyway, just a little rant there about my defense of the Eurovision.
Impassioned. I think the Remain campaign in 2016 in the UK could have used you. Maybe Brexit would have turned out differently.
Yeah. I just need a little bot farm of my own to counteract the Brexiteers ones. But yeah, who knows? Who
Or as an
knows?
Irishman, you might have sabotaged it on purpose.
Maybe. You just never know with me. I'm always operating on 2 to 3 different levels of political intrigue.
Is there, I think, something else we could apply the concept to that would be more fun than music?
More fun than music. And but still a European competition,
Yeah,
or what
let's
do we
say
think?
European, and then we can eventually bracket it out with the other continents.
Well, I think we mentioned this on our discussion of the Olympics, but I still think there is a very important place for the average Joe sporting competition where
Mm.
a random, like jury duty, like a random person is selected from each country, and they are forced to compete in a bunch of like very simple, like beer pong, or like, you know, this kind of like just completely average. Like, you know, the way, have you seen Gogglebox, the TV show?
Hmm.
You know, or you know what it is? These are literally average Joes that they're selecting, but they are selected with a degree of you know, nuance towards interesting personalities, funny people, you know, these kind of things. I think like get a bunch of average people from say Europe, right, and prepare a bunch of stuff like, you know, total wipeout obstacle
Yeah,
course kind of
yeah,
stuff, but then also some intellectual, like one of those like Taskmaster things,
yeah.
you know. But what the point is, it's like Ireland versus France versus Italy versus, you know, this kind of thing. I just think
I'd
we're
watch
a bit like in, yeah, I'm watching it. I think with Brexit, we heard the phrase, "We're sick of experts." You know, we want to hear from a real politician or like a real person who's leading us. And I think we're also a bit sick of sports people,
that. Mm.
where it's like, I get it. You trained super hard. You took all the right drugs. You passed all the drug tests. Good job. Now you'll jump really high and run really fast. But what country has, on average, the most capable darts player? You know,
Mm.
this is what I want to know. But like casual vibes. I can't stress that enough.
Casual vibes, exactly. They don't know they're getting chosen to do it till maybe like 1 month before. And that's the
Yeah.
window then they have for preparation. Because or else,
Yeah.
people like you, if they know a year ahead of time, they're gonna learn the
Mm.
craft.
This is the thing. It should be like a team build event. You know when you go on a team build, a corporate team build, and it's like you do some challenge, and it's like, oh, you'll be good at this, or you might be
Mm.
good at this. Like it can't be everyone. Like not everyone can't be amazing at everything. You know, so like there has to be something a bit quirky and a bit weird that someone's great at, and then somebody else is good at something else. That would be fun. I would watch that, and I would vote. You know, I would dial in and vote for the best one. That kind of thing.
The average Joe Sport Vision contest.
Mm.
First one to be staged in.
It's got to be
It's
Brussels.
gotta be
I feel,
Brussels.
yeah, you knew where I was going there. I unfortunately couldn't resist the urge to slam dunk on Brussels last episode, and gonna just pay that back now and say Brussels is a great place, and they should host this amazing competition. Maybe we could do it in Mini Europe, the
Oh Christ.
easily the best attraction in all of Belgium.
In Europe, I'd say.
Yeah,
I mean,
easily. I
why
mean,
go to the real Colosseum when you can see the miniature version there?
it's life
Next to the
changing,
miniature
and
Eiffel
it's
Tower.
next to the Atomium as well. Don't forget, everyone's favorite tourist attraction in Belgium.
Well, it actually is probably everyone's favorite tourist attraction in Belgium, isn't it?
Mixed reviews on Google. That's when we can check the 1-star
Did you
reviews
go
out. Actually,
inside the big balls of the Atomium?
I've been twice to the
Oh,
Atomium,
God.
which is 2 times more than anyone needs to go. Once was for a team
We're
build
back to
activity.
bashing Belgium. That lasted 30
Sorry,
seconds.
sorry. No, because I think a lot of Belgians would say, "Don't go to that stupid Atomium."
Yeah.
Like they'll tell you where to go instead. But it's built in the, I think, 80s. Hasn't been touched since. As soon as you go inside, you realize I've made a huge mistake. You are shuffled around the various balls with nothing to do or see in any of them. It's not great, I have to
Part
say.
of the European project.
It is an important part. It was part of the Expo project, actually. So a little bit tangential, but still good.
Well, that's good. And after the break, listeners, we're gonna catch you up on some other European projects, some other initiatives that we've taken, and close the loop on a few of them.
Listeners, welcome back once again to LIP, Lost in Postulation. We're doing it like Men in Black now, where we say the acronym and then just say what the acronym
Here
stands for.
come the
But
postulators.
we're going to workshop the song. We're working on various drafts here. Don't worry about that. We are back to Postulate once again, and to close the loop, CTL on a few different topics that have been stray postulations over the last number of episodes, where we have touched on them. We've perhaps opened a few new topics and not necessarily closed the loop, and that's what we're here to do today. I'm going to start with one that I'm sure the listeners have been screaming out, asking for an update on since I first mentioned it. And that is, of course, the new bed that I ordered ages ago and that did finally arrive.
Yes.
I have an update on that, and I have an additional mundane postulation that's tagged onto that. So that's how we're going to address it. And then we'll have a couple more after that, I believe.
Brilliant.
So, should we get into it?
Let's do it. I'm excited. I've been waiting for your bed to arrive. I actually haven't heard anything about it until now.
Well, here we go. The short review is 5 stars. Amazing bed. Love it.
I'm glad to
It
hear.
is as good. It is as good as we hoped. It is a whole new level of comfort, sleep, ease of sleep, ease of falling asleep, ease of staying
Oh,
asleep,
wow.
ease of going back to sleep,
Wow.
napping abilities, chilling abilities. All of it have been augmented by this new bed. The only question mark that remains right now is it's a hefty enough little boy, because it has like a base layer and then a mattress and then a topper
Yeah.
on it. And we opted for the 19-centimeter legs because we like to store stuff under the bed. We don't have that much space around here in our place for storage. Now, when you put all of that together, though, it becomes a tall bed in the sense, like, for me, it's fine, but for your, like, We're talking borderline jumping territory to enter the bed, right? Now that's fine once you're in it, like
Yeah.
there's no big deal there, but there is just that initial whoop that you ideally wouldn't do. So we're in that debating phase now of, do we go for the 11 centimeter legs
Mm,
and lose the underbed storage, or do we tolerate the high bed and keep the storage? I don't
well,
know.
that's tough.
That isn't the postulation, by the way. There's more to come. This was just my condensed review. But any thoughts on this so
Well,
far?
my first thought, just back on the 5 stars, so I'm assuming your whole leg fits into it. So you're not having feet off of the edge
Oh,
for once in your
it
life.
is so good. 210 centimeters. Now, that does present a challenge in buying sheets. There's not many
Mm-hmm.
places that offer 210 centimeter sheets, but there are some. And therefore, I can just stretch for days. Like, my feet are not going to the end of this bed, which is a first in my life. So, very excited.
Yeah, and then regarding the height, I mean, I think storage space is storage space. I think Yura is gonna just
Mm.
have to keep working on her high jump abilities.
Or we'll get a little stool, you know, it's not unheard of. It's
Would
not
she
unheard
be
of.
open to the little stool?
She may actually genuinely.
Then fantastic.
Yeah,
Win, win, win.
yeah. She's not much into clutter actually. So I think her initial response would be, maybe
But she's
not
also
on the
very
stool.
athletic with her dancing background, so I don't think it costs her
Exactly.
too much effort to jump onto the bed every time.
It's keeping us healthy, keeping those knees spry. Why
Exactly.
not?
Exactly.
So I think all in all, the bed has been an amazing investment so far. Anyway, we're still in the trial period where we get to decide, do we change anything about
How
it or
many
do we keep
nights
it?
are
But
we
so
into
far,
it now?
I don't know. I'd say about a month now, and we have 3 months to, yeah, 3 months to seal the deal. So let's see. But so far, all signs point to we like it a
Is it
lot.
a 3 month money back guarantee?
Not money
Oh,
back, but sleep guarantee, basically, where they say if you're having any
okay.
trouble, you let us know and we'll change the mattress, we'll change this or that,
Oh
blah blah
well.
blah. But they don't offer the full money back for reasons they say to do with, once you've chosen the bed and the fabric and everything, it's like built and made, and then they get nothing back. If you return the bed, it's trash now. So
Right.
they gotta hold you to something. And that's a whole other postulation, by the way, which is problematic returners. I don't know if you've heard or seen this, but this is like a growing topic right
Mm.
now. Okay, I'll save it for
Let's
another
save it.
episode because
It's a good
it
one.
is super interesting, super interesting. But this wasn't the mundane postulation. So bed, all things are going well. It's a great bed. Where I had an initial challenge though was the other bed, because we obviously had to keep the other bed, the old bed,
Mm.
the reject bed,
Right.
until the day that this new one
Mhm.
arrived, and it did. And then I disassembled it and I threw it in the living room, just wherever it would fit, big mattress, and then the component like pieces. And then I realized, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this
Mm.
bed. And for the listeners who don't know, I don't have a car, so I kind of am on my own here in terms of getting rid of this bed. And it became clear that I was either going to have to go through some kind of a thing in our building to sort out a storskrald, like a big waste
Mhm.
collection, talking to Danish people, which I don't want to do already. Um,
Tough.
or I was going to, yeah, or I was going to have to physically transport this to a genbrug, like a recycling
Right.
center myself, which I also didn't want to do. So then I was really at my wits' end for a day or two, being like, what am I going to do with this goddamn bed? I don't even want it. I don't want to sell it. No one's going to buy
No.
it. And even if I wanted to, I don't want the hassle of haggling over a few hundred kroner for a bed. So eventually I saw an amazing opportunity, and I'm here to recommend this service and also to hear your take on it, because I didn't know this existed. Are you familiar with a business called Handy Hand?
No, I'm not, but I already love the name. It could be so many different things.
It's an amazing service. Handyhand.dk. I don't know. I'm sure other things exist in other countries. But how Handyhand works is it's like a marketplace of handymen or women, but
Oh
it's mostly
wow.
men.
Because I'm
So
useless with handy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because this is what because where I wanted to start with this is, I think we all give ourselves way too much credit of what we can physically, personally do
Hmm.
ourselves in our homes,
Hmm.
right? Everyone says, "Oh yeah, you're gonna buy a place, but you do it up yourself. You can just like paint the place and like to get a new
Hate
bathroom
that.
in, lash up the tiles on the walls, all this kind of stuff." It's like you are fully not qualified to do that. Like 100%, I'm not, but you also are not. And that goes for everything: electrical work at home, plumbing work at home. I'm like, I've done the
Cleaning,
basics.
even in the cases of some.
in the case of some. Now, cleaning does fall under this category too, you'll see. But in any case, handyhand.dk,
Yeah.
right? What it is you go on and post your job, and it can be literally anything. It can be like, I would love if you could just go like clean out this whole room, like take all the furniture out and do whatever you want with it.
Take out the trash.
Or or you can say, "Hey, I'm moving house. Can you just be a pair of
Yeah.
hands, or can you drive a van, or blah blah?" Blah. But there's no limit, and you can just scroll through on the website to see what other people are asking, and also what kind of prices other people are offering for them. So what I realized was I value my time a lot these days, and I would rather pay to get this goddamn bed out of my house than try to sell it or even give it away for free. I was like, I need to sweeten the deal so much that it's gone by Saturday, and this was like on a Friday. So I posted it on Handy Hand and I said, now this might sound generous, right? Tell me what you think about this price. But
Yeah.
I said, take this bed and this mattress, do whatever you want with it. Sell it if you want, or else throw it in the trash. Do literally whatever you want. I will pay you 300 kroner to do that.
300 krona. So for our international listeners, which is most of you, that's about $43.
Yeah.
To pay to get rid of your bed plus mattress plus all the shackles.
And it's a double mattress, right? So it won't fit in a car.
Right.
You need a van. What do you think of the price, first of all?
Well, probably getting a cab to the closest recycling center might have cost you less than the 43 USD.
A cab, though, wouldn't fit a mattress.
Yeah, good point. You'd have to take the van cab.
You're talking a van rental. Or like, you anyway need access to a van. So that's going to be what, 20, 30 euro
That's
for a few
definitely not
hours.
worth it. Did you not think at any point of Bermuda triangling it? A lot of people do that.
A lot of people do that. I was worried, I don't know. I just can't feel good about it,
Yeah.
Like, you just dump it, I guess, down at the big bin there, and you just hope for the best. But I don't know. I just have this feeling of like, nah, that's below me somehow, or I'm above that.
Unethical even.
Yeah, you could say.
I mean,
It just makes it someone else's
and
problem.
how did it go? The guy shows up, he takes it, you pay him, and
It was. So this is the thing. This is why I asked you about the price. I got 2 hits instantly, like within an hour, where guys were like, I'll do it. Like straight, it's like jumping at it, right? So I guess I offered a decent
losers
price
regret.
for it. But that was great then, because I could just set the deal. I was like, only if you come tomorrow, only if you blah, 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 and they're like, yeah, fine, cool. So from Friday afternoon to Saturday morning, it's gone. So the guys arrive. They're lovely, friendly guys. I gave them 5 stars. They took the bed and the mattress and everything. What they did with it, I don't know. Frankly, I don't want to know.
Dirty Mike and the boys.
It's their responsibility, and they took the bed out of my apartment, never to be seen again. And I feel so much better, because me a few years ago would have been determined to go rent the van, go find the recycling center,
I know.
put the metal in the right spot, the wood in the right spot. I would have kind of felt this duty and this kind of vindication of doing it. But now I'm just like, you know what? Pay to make your problems go away. That's my learning.
I'm proud in a very roundabout way, after all these years of knowing you, that you've reached this conclusion that it's okay to get help and sometimes pay for it. I'm very proud of you for that. And I think probably if you take those $43 as a proportion of the bed buying price, we're talking very, very low single digits, if even a full digit, right? So yeah, I think you did all right for yourself. I'm curious on how now this evolves for you, now that you've discovered such a service as Handy Hand, if you're gonna start exploring other things.
100%. I think what's next in line is our balcony hasn't been receiving the maintenance that I think balconies need over the years, and is in need of an expert. And again, that's something that any listener might listen now and go, do it yourself. How hard can it be? Just sand the thing down, clean it once, let it dry, do a varnish, then let that dry, then varnish it again. And already I'm saying, absolutely not. Like, I can pay someone else to do that, and I want to. So that's me.
You've actually, something has happened where you haven't been contagious by the Danishness, because the Danishness of things is, no matter what, no matter how much money you have, no help from anyone except grandparents and family members. Nobody cleaning your house, nobody doing this, doing that, because there is, for the listeners that don't know, this judgmental law of Yente, which says,
Hmm.
do not think you're better than anybody else. And Danish people, although they laugh when you say, oh, I read about the law of Yente, they still kind of live it.
Oh, they love it. And let's not forget, we've mentioned it several times. A deal for a
Oh,
Danish person. A
goodness.
deal is the be all and end all. I was in a pop up Pepsi store. I don't know. That's a bit of a tongue twister. They did a pop up Pepsi store in Copenhagen the last couple of
Uh,
weeks. Did you see that?
Pepsi
It
the
was on
drink?
P. Yeah, Pepsi Max. Yeah, on
On
Pilestrel.
Pilestral, yeah,
There
we
was
passed it towards the
yeah,
end. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. I was in there yesterday, and classic example. When you go in, you get a Pepsi dollar,
Hmm.
right? So they give you a fictional currency, and then you can exchange that Pepsi dollar for a Wheel of Fortune spin. And the queue for that was 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, uh, where Danish people are queuing to give their free fictional money to get maybe a free prize of a T-shirt or a can of Pepsi or something. They bloody love queuing up for stuff that's free.
Pepsi.
Um, we walked out. We walked out. We did not queue for anything.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely not.
Do you think, though, you could have found somebody on Handy Hand to stand in that queue for you, spin the wheel,
100%.
and then eventually deliver the Pepsi to your home?
100%. They fall into the same category as those like people who you get to queue for you when the new MacBook comes out, or
Yeah,
like these people are out there, professional queuers. Um, Maybe not what I'm most passionate about. So I might not be commissioning a professional queuer for the Pepsi Max Wheel of
fair.
Fortune, but it is definitely something I'll be keeping in mind. I won't be certainly doing any drilling, any of that like actual handiwork in my home. I just feel like A, I'm not qualified. B, I just don't want to spend my time on it. That was the last thing as well. Remember you were saying about that €42, right? That
Yeah.
as a percentage of the cost of the bed. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Another way to look at it is what's your time worth?
Hmm.
Like first of all, what are you paid hourly to do work,
Right.
right? So you can check your actual wage, but then also take your weekend and go, okay, I get 2 days off a week. So those are comparatively even more valuable than the working hours. Those should have a premium attached to
Right.
them. Like they're my free time, but it's very limited. Say if it's like 16 hours a day, that's it for the week, right? So every hour of that goes into hiring a van, getting the bed, dropping it off at the recycling center, that's pure waste of time. And so say it's 2 hours, right? Then there you go. I think that's €42 covered,
Yeah.
at least for
Or
me.
the amortization of it over time. You could say I split these up over a week in terms of the daily cost of that. Well, you have that aspect. The other one is you wouldn't want someone without any experience in your field doing your job.
Yeah.
Why should you all of a sudden, go around building bookshelves in your own house and risking injury and all of this and just not building as nice of a bookshelf?
Yeah, that's it. Like, I don't see why we somehow are like, there are certain professions that anyone can do at any
It's
time. It's like,
unfair. It's condescending.
yeah,
It's patronizing. And we're better than that.
it's insulting, actually. Electricians and handymen deserve a bit of respect for the work they do.
And
And
plumbers,
yes,
especially, and they get paid handsomely for it, especially here.
indeed. And fair play, they should, because a good plumber deserves to be paid well because they certainly are doing a better job than anyone can do as an amateur, just like banging away at a pipe. Like, they know exactly what they're doing. So yeah, I think fair play to them, and they deserve equal pay
Fair,
or fair
fair,
play.
fair play to you, Neil, for coming around and to the adult sphere of things. I'm very proud of you. It's a great postulation. Tying up another loose end, Neil.
Yeah.
We did another service to Europe, another big project of splitting up the continent based on whether a country was eat to live or live to eat.
Mm.
We put this out to our listeners to hear what they are, not just Europeans, but from all over the world. The results came in 77% of our listeners claim they live to eat, and 23%, very honest, claim they eat to live.
How do we feel about that?
I feel it's not the whole truth. I think
Mm.
77% is high. I think people don't want to be associated with eat to live, and maybe we didn't do enough to kill that stigma.
Yeah, it reminds me a bit of MBTI, when people do the self tests to
Extrovert,
find out what
introvert.
kind of
Yeah.
personality. Yeah, you get this crazy over indexing for extroverts because nobody wants to
Hmm.
be or apparently very few people want to proudly say, "Oh yeah, I'm an introvert. Like I can't do parties and I'm boring." You know, like that's not as cool as to say, "Yeah, man, I love people. I'm so extrovert," especially in workplace scenarios where you're supposed to be a bit outgoing and a bit of a people person. So I think this is a bit the same, that nobody wants to say like, "Oh yeah, like I'm not a foodie at all. Like I eat whatever's in front of me and move on." You know, that's not like the a cool personality trait. But I would argue, hey, your priorities are elsewhere. You know, maybe you eat to live, but you love reading and you want to make more time to go read, or you want to exercise and just get the food into you and go. You
There
know,
you
like
go.
maybe we didn't give people a chance to prioritize eating in comparison to some other important things in their lives.
Absolutely, I'm with you on that. I think we need to fine tune the nuance on these discussions. A thing that became apparent though, Neil, is that we need to talk about Deutschland, Germany.
Uh-oh. Yeah,
Um, on our map, every country was clearly a need to live or a live to eat, green or red. Germany was multicolored. And in the key, we had live to eat in the legend, eat to live, and Germany as its own category. German listeners not taking too kindly to that. We thought it would have been a mark of uniqueness, of standing out. They don't like that.
I think that's understandable. I think they deserve to get their their classification like all the others. But I just struggle a bit to know where exactly they fall.
That was our thing. Our thing was the nuance of Bavaria being potentially live to eat and the rest being eat to live. But I think honestly, if we're going to have to choose one, it's going to have to be eat to live for the Germans. I mean,
I think so. At least if I remember back, like that was the rationale. The same reason that we put so much of North Europe in Eat to
mhm.
Live was the same reason that you would put Germany there. So yeah, I think hey, if they want an answer, here's the answer.
Here's
So
the answer, Germans. Write us
case
in. Let
closed.
us know. While we're on food, Neil, a last loose end I'd like to tie up. We started with the record gauntlet last episode. Out of all these things, from smelling armpits to collecting sick bags to playing table tennis, not ping pong, every day, you chose to eat a Big Mac every single day for the rest of your life. Now,
Sure did.
I have another couple to run you through to see if we can dethrone the Big Mac or not. Before that, though,
Hmm.
I need to apologize
Oh,
for something I said on the last episode, which came across as very offensive. I erroneously claimed that Nick Vermeulen, the man behind the Guinness World Record largest collection of sick bags in the world, I claimed that he was Belgian. Which led on to a bit of Belgian bashing, which is not what we're apologizing for.
never
What
apologize.
I'm apologizing for is that I called Nick Vermeulen Belgian when he was actually Dutch. And knowing Dutch people, having lived there, I know that probably the worst thing you can say to a Dutch person is, "Are you Belgian?"
Hmm. It's up there with asking an Irish person. Oh, it's so cool, like to meet a British person like you. You
Oh,
know, like
British. Yeah.
it's yeah. It's I get it all the time as well.
Do
But
you still?
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. Sorry now,
disrespectful.
but it's a constant reminder to me actually that like something so innately obvious to me and has been obvious to me since the age of zero, like just isn't that well known outside of Ireland. Even in the UK, like I've had British people like very regularly ask me, so like you're a part of us or no? Like really they don't know. But so I have sympathy for the Dutch listeners who might have had their blood
Yeah.
boiling when Nick Vermeulen was cast out of their ranks.
Nick Vermeulen. So, Dutchies, you can claim that record as well. We'll find something else for the Belgians, something in a positive light. Hopefully.
They have some other records that I don't want to mention. So yeah, we'll find a positive record for them to own and be proud of.
La Belgique, België, Belgium. Now, Neil, to continue the gauntlet, I have something else for you that you might want to take up instead of the Big Mac. Taylor Fladgate, the British man, reportedly ate nothing but McDonald's chicken McNuggets for over 30 years, consuming an estimated 12,000 McNuggets per year. While his diet may seem extreme, he claimed to enjoy the taste and did not experience any adverse health effects. Thoughts?
Well, how? So hold on. First of all, quick due diligence on the numbers.
Yeah.
So one more time, how many per day are we talking?
12,000 per year, which means about 32 per day.
Yeah, I guess that's split into
4 times 8,
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Ah, four. Okay,
you could
gee,
say.
that okay. So before you told me the numbers, I would have switched here. I would have gone from Big Macs to chicken nuggets because I am famously a chicken nugget fan.
Mhm.
I actually earned the nickname, kind of a weird nickname, in college. One of my many nicknames that I've received over my life. I had the nickname of Nugs or Nugsy.
Okay.
Nugs Fitzpatrick, they called
Is
me
there a reason
because I
behind
was
that?
such. The reason was because if we ever were in a McDonald's, I would be shamelessly getting a very high quantity of nuggets. There was also one other reason that may gross out the listeners slightly. I'm going to go there. I'm going to explain it. But basically, when I was young, so when I was like say 6, 7, I got chicken nuggets in McDonald's, and I was compelled to peel the nuggets. So rather than just like dipping them in the sauce and then eating them, I would actually remove the skin of the chicken nuggets and eat that first, and then I'd be left with the remaining chicken. Uh, Still a nugget, just not crispy because I'd already eaten that part. And that's something that I don't always do, but like I may be compelled to, and that may have also, landed with some impact with my colleagues in university, and Nugs was born.
Nugs, unbelievable. So, just to get it straight, you would peel off the fried shell, let's call it, eat
Yeah,
all of
yeah,
that, and then you
yeah,
would eat the white chicken on itself, all of that as well.
yeah.
Okay.
And I don't really know why.
Mm,
It's like, sometimes you're just like, this is what I want.
right.
It's like a pregnancy craving, except I certainly am not pregnant. But like,
Let's not branch
it's
out
just
too
like
far.
I want this to happen, and I like it. So I don't know. Don't knock it till you try it. A lot of people are like, "Oh my god, that's like Hannibal Lecter levels of weird." But to me, it's just what needs to happen
Okay, well,
sometimes.
we'll have to try it. So, are we still on the Big Mac, just to be clear?
Yeah, because I don't want to go to this quantity. 32 per day
They're
is
not that big,
pretty
though. Isn't
bad.
that the point?
I know, but it's so many. Like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, at least
Mm,
6 per time. It's just
yeah.
like, oh man. Yeah, what with Big Macs, it was just like one and done kind of. It was like
Yeah.
have one for breakfast, one for lunch. I don't know. Yeah, like calorie wise, it's probably the same. It's just kind of the 1, 2, 3, 4. It starts to feel like a bit of a mountain of
And
crap.
you get a bit more with the Big Mac, right? You could say you get your veggies and
Yeah.
vitamins with it, which you don't necessarily with the nuggets.
Yeah, and any dietitian or health expert would be screaming to hear someone justify eating a Big Mac on that basis. But still, it is true to say that yeah, a balanced diet is certainly more balanced if it has a Big Mac in it than just chicken nuggets. So yeah, I guess so.
When in Rome, speaking of which, from 2012, British teen hospitalized after eating nothing but chicken nuggets for 15 years.
You could, though, imagine there was other things there leading to the hospitalization. Like I don't want to, postulate too heavily here, but it's highly unlikely, I think, that this person exhibiting very clear compulsive behavior is not in other aspects of their life also exhibiting that
Mm.
behavior, right? So let's just say they were hospitalized, yes, and let's wait for the full story. Geez, I sound like a PR mouthpiece for McDonald's now, but uh, all I'm saying is, I don't think it's true. I don't think it's fair to say, hey, guy who only did one thing then had thing Y happen
Mm.
to him, and therefore thing A caused it.
And let's
But
remember, Mr. Big Mac never ate the fries, right? Um, key component,
that was
yeah.
smart.
Whereas
That was
here, Stacy, then we get into the numbers, and what you find out is that a 20-piece chicken nuggets meal contains 58 grams of fat and 926 calories, which exceeds daily recommended intakes of 56 grams of fat and is
mm.
almost half of the daily recommended 2,000 calories a day, according to the Daily Mail.
It's not
No.
great. It's not and then you get into, it's also heavily processed and yeah, not anything that you would be recommending anyone eat even more than once a week, if not a month. But people are going to do it. I think that's the cry of most unhealthy industries, where they say, "Look, there's a demand for this. People want it, and we're providing it, but we don't condone people eating it to the extent that they do, or to that level." I guess that's what any rep from Mackie D's would say in this conversation. But luckily, they're not here, and it's just up to us to postulate.
Just up to us to postulate. And final one here. I've got Jerry Gretzinger for you, Neil. Not food related. Jerry Gretzinger is an American folk artist and fashion designer. He is best known for his map of an invented landscape, known simply as Jerry's Map. Gretzinger has been working on his map every day for over 60 years. It has grown to include over 3,000 unique panels and is constantly evolving. Every day, he draws a piece of this fictionalized map.
Now,
You're a big map
Jerry,
fan.
love maps. There's a map just up here to my side behind me
Lovely.
here. Thing with that though is, Jerry, like it's it's not that hard, like, because there's no rules, like you're not actually recreating any thing. Like I have such respect for the initial map makers, right? The people who literally mapped our world had to do so in extremely difficult
Mm,
conditions. Like they had zero, they didn't have drones, they couldn't just like fly a drone up and be like, oh yeah, look at the coastline. They had to be like actually physically doing it, like taking a horse and cart and going along and be like, the coastline goes like this. They did that for the whole world, right?
mm.
Now Jerry probably feels like he's doing something similar here. But the difference, Jerry, and it's quite a key one, is that your world doesn't exist,
Wow.
unfortunately.
Wow. You're
Now,
in a mood
I
today.
don't want to be. Yeah, well, no. This is. Let's call a spade a spade. Like I could do this, you could do it. Like there is nothing that you're making a map of nothing that doesn't exist, right?
Mm,
So it can be anything. So you can one day, if you're feeling a bit kind of sleepy or whatever, you draw a circle and go, it's an island. There it is. Good. That's my input for today. Like it's not it's not breathtaking,
mm.
It's like I've seen people over the years do a challenge like this where they go, I'm going to write a song a day for a year, and your reaction is supposed to be, oh my god, what remarkable creative output, what an incredible thing, that's like 30 albums in a year, wow. But you know quality over quantity, it's like you can do it, like you can create a song right now if you want, we can make one in the remaining time of this
I did
podcast,
want
but
to
it won't be
start this
good.
podcast, mate. I'm ahead of you.
You did create a song, sorry, I'm wrong, but the point is, like, anyone can create. It doesn't mean everyone should create, or that we want to see what you have to create. Same goes for everything, right? But it's just not that hard, I feel. I think creativity is most appreciated when there's a degree of like effort that has gone into it. And in Jerry's case, like, I'm not going to study his maps because I have very little interest in what they show.
All right. Well, Jerry's been at museums, okay? He's been at the Palais de Tokyo, the Mass MoCA, and the American Folk Art Museum. So he's getting recognition. He doesn't need it from you.
He certainly doesn't. And I mean, if they're artistically like beautiful in their own right, then sure, yeah, I'm always willing to look at some art. But if he's claiming that it's so amazing that I have accurately mapped a whole gigantic world, that's where I have a little bit of a gripe with Jerry.
All right, Jerry. All right. Well, Neil, I guess you're still on the Big Mac.
Yeah, if we could negotiate, I would ask for a reduction in nuggets. I might try and get down to like 24 rather than 32.
Okay.
But in absence of that, then I think it's still Big Mac time. And actually, all this talk of Big Mac has made me want to go get a Big Mac now. That's how into Big Macs
Well,
I
you're
am.
never too far away from one, Neil. And before I let you go off to get a Big Mac, we've postulated the world yet again. Any parting shots for our listeners?
I'll start with the usual come for us, listener, as always. If there's anything here, and I'm sure there was something, if there was anything that upset, triggered, or in any other way affected you, we always want to hear it. Thanks for following on as ever. We were looking at the world map earlier on. It's nice to see the listeners spreading themselves across the globe. We now see a lot of you in North America, which is very welcome, and welcome aboard. And yeah, let us know what you want to hear us postulate about. We're always looking for interesting new stuff, and we will be back next time with more postulations.
We will indeed, Neil. I'm Nicola Volpi. He's Neil Fitzpatrick. This was an LIP production. So long.